Hey, good morning and good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And today I have somebody absolutely spectacular on the show. You are going to be blown away by this lady. Her name is Dawna Campbell. And my gosh, does she have a resume? And you're going to be blown away. So, Liz, she actually has a trademarked phrase. Like it's pretty cool. We're going to talk about that. But do me a favor, and before I introduce you to Donna, I want you to share this out. I want you to share it with everyone that you know, anyone that you like, especially share it with those that you don't like. Put it in those rooms that you don't really want to be in, those chat groups that people add you to. Just post it out there everywhere. And let's get a bunch of people on here to listen to Donna's story. And I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away. She just produced a movie and it's pretty incredible. So stay with us. Stay with us, share it out, and we'll see you in just a second. Let's bring Donna on. Donna, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here with you today, Ken, on Breakthrough Walls.
I'm so happy to have you here. I was talking to my wife about you last night, and she goes, "This lady sounds like a badass." I said,
I love her already.
I said she is. She is. So I see, do you know Joe Ingram?
I do know Joe Ingram.
There's Joe. He calls me Snuggles. That's our own little personal
I
thing.
love it. I love it. Hello, Joe.
Or maybe he was talking to you, not me. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Um,
It's probably you, Ken.
yeah, right. So Donna, I started this show because I like to hear how people broke through all the crap that tried to hold them back in life, and I have a suspicion that you've maybe had little challenges here and there, maybe.
Just
Um,
you.
And I'm excited to hear about those. I'm excited to hear about how you got through those and what you did to take it to the next level. So, first, why don't you start by telling everybody where you were born and raised? Where did it all begin for you?
Oh my goodness. My starting point. I grew up and was born in Silicon Valley in California. And
Oh,
that's where
wow.
things really started. But it wasn't what Silicon Valley is today. And,
Right.
blue collar workers, food stamps, welfare, you name it, first job at age 14 to pay for lunches and my own clothes, different things like that. So I was taught the value of hard work my entire life.
That's pretty cool. So, in the why Silicon Valley? Did your parents work for tech or
My father was a mechanic at a company
okay?
called Peterbilt, which actually moved out of the area when I was in my teenage years. And my mom worked in the tech industry, but they were making the microchips for all the computers, amongst other various jobs. I was born
Wow.
there. My parents were born and raised there. My family's from there. So it's not like we moved in. We were kind of the local crowd.
Wow. And you spent like is that where you went to high school and everything? Is that where you
Yes.
graduated from high school in Silicon Valley?
I spent 2 years in high school there, and then we moved to Idaho, and I spent my last 2 years at a different high school in a small
Oh.
town that had I had more people at my high school, Ken, in my graduating class than the town we moved to in Idaho.
Oh, wow.
How's
No
that for a
kidding.
culture shock? Yes.
That's massive. How did that work out for you?
The
That's interesting because I have
entire
a
month.
teenager in high school right now, and she would probably, um, not be very happy if we did that. Like, not at
No,
all.
not happy at all. It happened just
Mm.
before my 16th birthday. I was
Oh,
right between my sophomore and junior year in high school, and after we moved, literally, I had an entire month of knowing nobody, having no neighbors, living 4 miles out of town, and just seriously being alone, and school had not started. So it was me and my 2 brothers. My mom worked. My dad
wow.
hadn't come up yet to come. So,
Wow.
yes, that was, a very interesting time.
Well, at least it doesn't snow in Idaho.
Oh, it did.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. Now, does it is how's the weather in Silicon Valley? I've never even been there. Is it
Um, yeah, in the Bay Area, it's actually incredibly beautiful. There's lots of humidity, there's lots of flowers everywhere. The temperature is fairly moderate. It wasn't too hot, too cold, at least to what I remember. I lived an hour from Santa Cruz to the beach. So, it was a great life.
so talk about um when you got out of high school,
Mhm.
did you stick around Idaho for a long time or did you get out of there as quick as you could?
Right, that's a great question. I was in high school, and as I was graduating, a lot of my friends went up north to northern Idaho for college. I went to college in the city in Boise where I was at, and and in that I would go up and visit where I actually met other people, and then got married at a young age, and then moved to that corner of the state. Now, Idaho is the shape of a triangle. So I was in the southwest corner, and then I was in the northwest corner. And then after being married, he finished college. I moved to southeast Idaho and then finished my studies. And then life continued. So I lived in all three corners of the state.
Wow. What was your what did you study in college?
I have a Bachelor of Business Administration in both finance and marketing, and recently just received an honorary doctorate degree for strategic leadership.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
awesome. So, okay, so you finished college in Idaho,
Mhm.
um, and you've built an empire from Idaho, or did you move somewhere else?
I was in Idaho for a number of years.
Oh,
My
okay.
first career right out of college, I was a financial advisor for a investment firm, and within 2 years, I was the managing principal, which meant not only was I the sales manager, but I was also the compliance officer, and I
Wow.
oversaw multiple offices in 3 states. And
Oh,
I spent 10 years in that career because I really wanted to help middle class America get ahead in life and not face some of the financial challenges that I had faced growing up. So
yeah.
if people, you wanted your children to go to college, I worked through college and put myself through without any student loans or debts. And, I wanted, my children, other people to have those opportunities. And I thought that that was the pathway until I realized that it wasn't. And so I had my own set of experiences that actually changed. And then I moved into the healing world.
Talk about what okay. So, I feel like I always think that okay, whatever somebody ends up doing as an adult, there was some kind of an influence as a child. There was a person, people, um, event, or maybe a string of events that kind of push us in the direction that we go as adults. And
Yes.
when I say that, what comes to mind?
Oh my goodness. You are asking for a fun story here. My
We
mom,
like fun stories here,
yes.
so.
My mother was really the catalyst for me. And I remember one of the first times when I was about 8 or 9, and she said, just before she went outside to the backyard, Dawna, what do you want to be when you grow up? And at 8 or 9, I had no idea, but I thought I was answering the question the way I should, and I was being very honest and truthful. So I said, I'm going to join Greenpeace and save the whales. And literally, these laser beams came out of her like thunder and lightning bolts out of out of her. And she said, Dawna, you can be anything you want in the world. You can be a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist. And she literally slammed the door in my face and walked away. And I stood there going, I have no idea what I did wrong.
Wow.
So I completed my Saturday morning chores because I remember, and I went out the front door, started pondering it, and went, oh, I think I'm going to be a gypsy, travel the world, read palms, and oh, look, shiny rock, and put it in my pocket. And
Right.
I learned to always just give the answer that I thought people wanted to hear, especially with my mom, to avoid that harshness there, that anger. And today I travel the world. I have a healing practice. I'm putting that into movies. So all of those things are a catalyst, and everything in my life and all of the skill sets, even in college, being a part of the program board, learning how to event plan and putting on major concerts for 5 and 6,000, 10,000 people as a college student gave me the skill set that I use today in everything that I do.
Wow. That's incredible. So, how old were you when you started your gypsy journey?
That's a great question. I remember when I was first married and we moved from northern Idaho down to southeast Idaho. And then we moved into a couple of different houses. And then we would move to a different location in the same area. But literally, like every 2 to 3 years, I was moving, whether it's to a new house or to a new location. And I have that as a pattern. So when I got myself up here to Montana, I bought my house here. And at that 3 year mark, guess who was itching to move? Because that was what it was. And instead, I decided to start traveling. So I'm going to say about 11 years ago, I started traveling, and it's
Wow.
just increased ever since. And I always come back to my anchor here, for my security, my stability, for where I live, for my own sacredness. And then when I feel a little too constricted here in the home, I go back out and travel.
Wow.
But
That's
I love to travel. I really do.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And we've actually met in person because you like to travel.
Yes, I was traveling. We got to meet in person finally. So, yes.
Yeah. Here in Dallas. Okay, let's nail down a I'm trying to nail down a career timeline here. Like
Yeah.
how did so you say I love to travel. I'm sure when you started, YouTube probably wasn't paying you to travel and film videos. What was it how did you get paid? How'd you make money?
Yeah. Great question there as well.
My wife, by the way, is watching.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So for me, when I was with the financial services firm, I had multiple offices in 3 states. So that travel was all by car because I would drive from where I lived in the center and drive to the other offices for the day and drive back. And so those were, 12, 14, 18-hour days, depending on the drive. Sometimes I had to stay over, not too often. I usually made it back home. And then when I moved, I actually lived in an ashram for a year after I had 3 major life events that happened within 2, 3 years. I lost my health. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. My first marriage that I've been speaking about ended. And then I was financially devastated. So I
Mm,
moved to the ashram to uncover and unpack me, because I realized that's what those things all had in common. I had two small children at that time. And so I would do odd jobs, do different things. I left the financial services firm, lived off my savings for that year, and then slowly integrated back into society. And then I started my healing practice that I have today. So 20 plus years in the healing world,
Wow.
working with people reprogramming their subconscious brain. So of course that brings in income. And then taking that from working one to many, to groups, to teaching, to all of those things. And so I would always take whatever I earned and reinvested it into whatever it is that I'm doing, even into the movie that we produced with the Los Angeles Tribune and my executive producer, co-director with me, Moe Rock. So there was always some way to fund it or fund what we were doing along the way.
So okay, first off, what's an ashram? Why do I know I've heard of it, but I don't know what that is.
Right. An ashram is a spiritual living community. It tends to follow Eastern religion and philosophy.
Okay.
So I believe we are universal citizens. And that's in that I grew up with in a church, various different Christian sects. And
Mhm.
then through my college years, I took a lot of courses. And so I became an ordained minister as well. And then I wanted to learn other philosophies. And so by moving to the ashram, I was able to focus on myself, understand Eastern religion, Eastern philosophy, different ways of living. And when I left there and the community, my children went to the school, I learned valuable life skills I didn't even know were possible, and how to work and interact with my children, raising them, who are some of the most amazing adults on this planet today. And in that, I just learned, full circle moment, that everything has a pathway to get to a universal truth. And the things that I saw, whether you went through spiritual pathways or religious studies, was it always came down to a moral compass, values like integrity and honor and balance and peace. And so to me, those are universal truths. And if we speak the language from the heart, which is a language of love, we can always communicate with everybody, no matter what your background is, no matter your ethnicity, no matter what your culture is. And so when I look at people, I just see people because we're all speaking a common language.
Amen, sister. I agree with that. So you were in an ashram, you said, for a year.
Yeah.
Where was this ashram? Was it
It was, yeah, in Oregon, in Portland, Oregon.
okay? So you lived in this ashram for a year.
Hmm.
You found yourself. Was that safe to say that you kind of found yourself in that year, or
It was the beginning part of my healing career without realizing it. And so
okay?
when my health wasn't good, and I went to doctors for a number of years, nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. And I kept getting the please come back card.
Mm.
So 35 out of 40 days I spent in the hospital, and I had a 4-year-old and a 9-month-old.
Oh my
And I
god!
really thought I was gonna die. I had everything from a stomach viral infection to acute pancreatitis to you name it. And at a year and a half, they eventually took out my gallbladder, which was perfectly healthy, perfectly normal,
Oh,
everything. So no one could figure out what was wrong with me. So I ended up going to a naturopathic doctor. And after many sessions, it wasn't that there was something wrong with me, it was that I couldn't digest something in my life. Therefore, I could not digest food, which was the problem. So that was my initiation to beliefs, energy, emotion. I had no idea. And what I discovered at the time was that my husband at the time had been unfaithful. And I didn't know it, but I couldn't digest it, but it was there energetically. So
Wow.
the marriage dissolved. My health started getting a little bit better. Then I moved to the ashram. Couple years, this is like 2 years later. And then I'm in this relationship with a spiritual person, which is what I asked for, a spiritual relationship. And that person attempted to take my life by strangulation. And just before they took their hand off of me and me taking my last breath, all I could do was stare at them, and all I could do was project an energy of love. So they took their hand off and then expected me to retaliate. Now, this person, years later, since then crossed over. I have a whole different understanding of the context of everything. They actually crossed over from brain cancer. And at the time those things were happening, that energy was in their energy field. And
Wow.
so I have understanding. I have forgiveness for myself for giving myself unconditional love and letting go of my resentment or my anger or my whatever it was. So then after that happened, I moved back to the city I started in Idaho, because they said they were never going back there. They followed me. Things
Wow.
got a little worse. It got them out of my life completely. And I started meeting new people in the healing world. And then started really understanding how we create our own reality, how our energy from the inside goes to the outside. And then at that time, I ended up, being financially devastated because I ran out of my savings and all of those other factors. I didn't have a job. I couldn't get a job, even in the line of work that I was in, because it was during the global recession of '08, '09, '10. So I started my own healing practice and went from there moving forward. So those were the three significant events that I went through to get to where I am today in all of that understanding.
Wow. Okay.
There's
Geez.
a lot.
I'm
Pick a
just wondering
story.
if I should even attempt to unpack any of that. That's a lot.
So, did I discover myself? Did I find myself? In a way, but it comes in layers. It's not an all
Yeah.
one aha moment. It's peeling back all of those layers. Why
Yeah.
did I have to go through all of that? One, I created it. Two, I have to have that understanding for myself. So in the healing world, I can resonate with other people and I know what needs to shift, what needs to change, and it happens in an instant, which is why I was given the title of the Mind Whisperer.
So you oh my gosh. First off, I can I can relate. How well do you know Joe Ingram?
Let's just say I've interviewed Joe Ingram a few times.
Look what he says. Ogres have layers. What the heck?
Exactly. I saw that.
What is wrong with him? So he does always bring laughter.
He does. He does.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's just talk about it. There's, in my first book, I wrote and I think I got it from Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I'm pretty sure I gave him credit. Um, but one of my favorite quotes is, "Pain is the predecessor of all wisdom," and I think that um, it's interesting that oftentimes the people who have been through the most painful things are quite often the wisest, most spiritually connected people that you will meet. And so you certainly have been through that. I mean, you certainly have been through that. And When you started your spiritual practice, is that what you're calling you spiritual
I
practice?
often say healing, but
Healing. Okay.
energy healer, whatever set
Yeah.
of words, because they
Yeah.
all resonate.
Right. Right. Do you remember like your first handful of clients or your very first client, and how, and without, obviously without disclosing names, but unless it was Joe, we can talk about Joe. Um, He needs a freaking anyway, we won't go there. So what was it like for you when you first got started? Because I do business coaching and
Hmm.
stuff, and I can remember the imposter syndrome I had at
Hmm.
first. Did you experience that? And what was it like for you with your first handful of clients?
Well, my very first client is actually a friend of mine. And I was a Reiki master. That was really the only set of credentials I had. I had just come back from living at the ashram, learning meditation and brainwave patterns and science and knowing how to alter all of that. And she called me and said, I want you to do a session on me. And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, come do it. So
Wow.
I went over and I did a full hands on healing session with her. And her biggest thing, she didn't tell me what she thought was wrong or anything like that. And it happened to have been around breast cancer. And the fear of it coming back from the time she had cancer before. And we did the session, but I remember recalling and seeing all of that shift and release. And because of that, and just asking general questions to understand the context of it, she changed her vibration, her frequency, so to speak, and the cancer actually left her body. That was the very first client that I ever had. She insisted on paying me for the session, and I'm like, you're my first client, you're a friend. And she insisted on paying. And that would actually allowed me, this is where I reinvest. I took all of that and actually bought a massage table, which I still have today, where I can do table work and session work with people if I need to do that type of therapy.
Wow. You just brought up something that I often have been very, very curious about, because like my wife, her brother, just a gosh, I don't. It's been 2 years. He crossed to the other side, and because of cancer. And Wayne Dyer is my number one favorite spiritual teacher of all time.
Yeah.
I've read every single book he's ever put out, and he died of cancer, and in his 70s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, he is so he was so spiritually connected and advanced. How in the world did that happen?
Yeah.
And because you said the cancer left her body. Well, how how's that possible? How is it possible that that happened for her, but Wayne Dyer died of cancer?
Because it has to do with the emotional components that we hold on to. Every physical dis-ease has an emotional energy initially attached to it. Cancer relates to the energy of resentment. Resentment feeds off of sugar, candida, and flour, those types of things. So when you look at the energy of resentment, you have to understand what's going on in that person's life. It might not be resentment in today. It might be a resentment that they've held onto from 20 or 30 years ago. So what happens is,
But what about children that get it?
yeah, oh, I have children's stories too,
Wow.
as well. So it's an energy frequency. And when you understand what that resentment is, you can go back and change it. Now, we're only consciously aware of about 10% of what's going on. The subconscious is constantly creating its 90%. So, whatever these energies are, it's in the subconscious and you may not be aware of it. So, we understand what the energy is, where it's located out in the body. We go layers deeper to what's underneath that resentment, really. And then from those emotions, you can go into an energy and a frequency through natural laws like the law of polarity. You can shift the frequency to a different frequency, reprogram, get a different hertz, then it goes to a different emotion and feeling, then it changes in the body because if you're resonating here with resentment, Cancer and other things can connect. But if
Sure.
you rise up here and now you're in an energy of peace because we shifted something that happened to you because you resented the ice cream flavor you had to have when you were 3,
Yeah.
and it could be that simple, then it doesn't have anything to dock to. And there's a really good book called Molecules of Emotion by Candace Perk. I believe she's no longer with us, but it's all the research to how emotions attach themselves with like a lock and key system and dock everywhere hormonally in the body. And if you can shift and change that hormonal state, you can shift and change what's happening. So then that brings up the question that you had: what about children? Children will come and take on something from a parent or from a situation. Animals do the same thing. They may have contracted it or wanted to experience it to bring a lesson to people. I know children who have crossed over because of it, but it was, to bring the parents together in a different way. Or so there's so many different scenarios we don't really know. There's not one for, oh, it's this for the entire
Right.
group. It's not.
Right.
And one of my clients, she, had a child, and then she had this very tender moment with it, very abusive marriage. And when she was with her child, she was driving off to drop the child off so she didn't have to take care of it, so she could take her life. And then when she tells me this story and how she stopped, took the child out of the back seat, held it, and how the child put the hand on the face. And then the next thing you know, everything changed for mom. She was in this state of peace, and the child had cancer. So then it was my job to assist everybody working through that. And she made a decision one day that when her child was cancer free, they were, the youngest graduated from high school, and like one other thing she gave herself, she would leave the abusive relationship.
Mm.
All 3 of those things happened when I was working with her, and she
Wow.
left that relationship. So we don't really know until we dig into somebody's story what's really going on there. But there's a lot that emotion and that energy can have havoc on in the body.
And I don't remember if it was from the movie The Secret or from the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, but Neil Donald Walsh
Hmm.
has is it in
He was in The Secret. I don't
okay,
recall him
it's the
in the
secret
blue.
where a chalkboard appears behind him and he says,
Hmm.
God doesn't have this grand plan for every one of us. We decide what that plan's going to be.
Hmm.
And I always there's two sides to that because there's a lot of people that are like, no, damn it,
Hmm.
God decides the Bible says so. He knows every single hair. He knows everything we're going to do and what we're supposed to do and blah, blah, blah. And I often wonder, I think sometimes maybe there is some sort of a divine contract we make before
Hmm.
we come here saying, this is going to, this is what's going to happen. This is going to be your purpose. But we don't remember when we get here.
Right.
Right.
True, true. And that divine contract is with you
Right.
because if it's outside of you, it's also inside of you if we look at the law of hermetics. As above, so below, as within, so without.
Yeah.
So if it's outside of you, it's also inside of you. If you see an emotion or something or have an interaction with a person, that is also inside of you. So there's no escaping it. And it's a very neutral, impartial energy. And it's an energy of creation. You get to decide how you want to use that energy to create and the emotional components that you want to experience with it.
So I mean, obviously you know your stuff, and this is, by the way, my favorite topic. It's my favorite thing to talk about. With 24 years of recovery myself from alcoholism, um, Alcoholics Anonymous is a very, very spiritual program,
It is.
and that's where I found myself 24 years ago. I was like, I kind of woke up Not kinda, I did. I woke up, and that's when I started reading books like The Road Less Traveled and everything that Wayne Dyer wrote, and everything that Deepak Chopra put out, and all of the stuff. Um, and so I wonder, as this started going, because you are, it's trademark, the Mind Whisperer.
Mhm,
What is that? Where did that come about? How did that happen? And
mhm.
and how did you get this title?
So it was right around 2018, 2019, in that time period. And I started doing some media interviews. And of course, I get asked, what do you do? So I very eloquently explained about reprogramming the subconscious brain, creating your own reality, how it all works. I had this beautiful explanation. And they looked at me and went, we don't know what you do, but you reprogram brains. So we're going to call you the Mind Whisperer. I fought it for a number of years, but because it came out that way, media person after media person would pick up on that and start asking. And then one day I just decided I should probably accept it. And now I could probably show this to you and pull it out. I get mail addressed to the Mind Whisperer. So
That's
it's not
awesome.
something that I chose, it was something that was given.
Yeah,
So why not just trademark it? Because if they're
I agree.
writing to the Mind Whisperer, you might as well receive it.
I love that. So when you've been doing this for 20 years,
Yeah.
and along the way now you have, uh, you got into, I mean, this is recent, but you just recently produced a movie,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You and Moe Rock
Mm-hmm.
produced this together. Um, and it's the trailer looks phenomenal, and we're going to show you guys a sneak peek at the trailer. If you want to see it, let me know, if you'd like to see it, and we'll pop it up on screen here. But so when did that start? When did the whole I'm gonna make movies thing start?
Working with Mo and having conversations, it had been a while going through what it would be really like to produce a movie and to put it out there. And we knew we were coming up on the 20th anniversary of The Secret. We know we wanted to continue the story. So that was probably one of the hardest decisions I made in my life at the time because I had a thriving healing practice.
Yeah.
And I'm going out on stages and speaking. And do I want to put that on hold for however long it would be for this movie to come out? So I took several months, maybe a year, to even consider. And then eventually I said yes. And it was all of the people that I had studied from before, from The Secret, being in the personal transformational business, and understanding, what we really wanted to accomplish with this movie. And how could I still do healing work while producing a movie? And it happened naturally in every single interview that I did. Their essence came through, the realness, the authenticity. And some people had healing moments while being interviewed with it. And so it just showed me that those energies are encoded within this movie. And if somebody who doesn't know the backstory of anything sees it and they have a spontaneous moment or some sort of healing, and healing for me in this context is an elevation of vibration. Because if we elevate in vibration from like stress to peace, we're in a healing mode. So that's what that is to me, not that XYZ symptom is gone. It's elevating everything in a higher vibrational frequency.
Well, I think people want to see they want to see the trailer.
All right.
What do you say? Should we show them?
Yeah,
Because
let's
we're
play
she said, yeah.
it. Why not?
Well, yeah. All right. So tell everybody the movie title and who's in it and what kind of a brief overview.
Yes. So it's called The Pillars of Power. There's five main pillars you're going to see. And we have 7 of the original cast from the movie The Secret in this movie. So you can see Jack Canfield and Lisa Nichols and Dr. Joe Vitale and John Asseroff, Dr. John DeMartini, Marie Diamond. If I'm leaving somebody out there, there's some major influencers like Ken Honda and others. So I'm just really excited for this.
And you forgot to call me to be in it, but that's all right. We'll
You
let
can
that
be. We're
go.
going to do more. We're going to do more. We have a movie for each of the 5 pillars. We can cast you in one,
I'm
Ken.
just playing with you. The movie The Secret is absolutely one of my favorites, and I love this trailer. I love it. So I'm gonna show you guys the trailer. Here, everybody's saying yes. Please show it. Yes. So let's play the trailer for everybody to see. Here we go.
Through every age and every civilization, 5 pillars have carried us forward. Mental wellness,
The belief that I can do anything, the belief that I'm worthy of love and support and abundance. It's a mindset job.
Everything around you is like a 3-dimensional vision board. That environment is affecting 33.3% of your results.
spirituality,
You establish intention, and then the world starts to bend towards that. But if you don't have an intention, you get bent by the world.
I began to experience unbelievable miracles because I sought and looked for them.
money,
There are 2 kinds of wealth, visible wealth and invisible wealth.
Immediate gratification costs you, long-term vision pays you.
The law of attraction is ask, believe, receive.
The more we give, the more we receive. It's the universal law.
Nature is abundant, and anything else is not the truth.
relationships,
Relationships are fundamental to getting any of the results you want in life.
The hidden secret behind achieving greatness is to be unapologetically authentic.
Our first teachers were our parents. They sold us the program, and we have it running in the background.
So just like a computer can be reprogrammed, a software can be reprogrammed, so can your mind.
health,
I invest a lot of time every day on my emotional, my mental, and my physical health.
Deep, deep acceptance. That's the bedrock for transformation.
Practicing forgiveness is key to any type of healing.
When you say yes to yourself, you create that space to grow.
For the first time, the voices that have shaped how millions of people think about greatness. They share what they have never said on camera. Ancient wisdom, modern breakthroughs, and together they form the living pattern that leads us home to who we truly are. These are the pillars of power. Wow.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, I'm going to need you to go ahead and send me an advanced copy of the movie so I can watch the whole thing.
Everyone just stay tuned to the website, thepillarsofpower.com, and you will start finding our tour schedule coming up this summer.
That is so incredible. Megan said Glenn Morshower should be in it. He definitely should be in.
Yes, introduce me. You never know.
Definitely. Oh, there's Hua. Oh, I love Hua. There's Hua. I love her. She's so amazing. Wow. Dawna, very, very, very well done. Very, very well done. So, okay, now everybody wants to see it.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
now.
I know. Anticipation. We got to build it. We just did our first big premiere last week in Culver City, and we had an oversold out audience, and we had a big red carpet and everything. So what's happening between now and the next couple of weeks, we're putting together our actual tour schedule. So it could be shown in select theaters throughout the United States, as well as other platforms and places that are looking at hosting and sponsoring the film to many hundreds of people through their organizations. And then, of course, on various streaming platforms. So all of that is coming, and every announcement, everything that we're going to be doing, it's going to be put on and shared on the pillarsofpower.com website. So you can always look and see where the next tour spot location is, because we're going to have some speaking and some of the cast will be there. And then in October, we'll be premiering to about 600-700 people in Tokyo at our venue with Ken Honda for our Pacific Asia part of the tour. So we're going to tour for a little bit.
Is Ken Honda part of the Honda Motor Company Hondas or no?
No.
Okay. Look, Joe, we already, Dawna and I already talked about that, Joe. So
yes,
we already talked about it. So look at all the comments coming in. My gosh. So this is going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. There's more coming.
I've had, a lot of those folks have been on the show. I've had Sharon Lecter on. I've had Dr. Vitale on. I've had several of those. I don't remember everybody. And I love Dame Doria. She's amazing. So,
yes.
So, wow. What's next? Because you have a lot of other stuff coming too. Let's talk about that.
So first, with the Pillars of Power, you saw the 5 pillars.
Yeah.
I have a standalone movie that's going to be just around that topic, that pillar for the Pillars of Power movie series. And we are casting for all of those. If that's not enough, we have the Women's Empowerment series. So the first one is called The Rise of the Lioness, the Power of Feminine Leadership. That is actually in post-production, and we're looking at scheduling that to come out later this year. And we're casting for the second movie in that series called Women Who Transform the World. So it's all women by women with women executive producers and co-directors alongside of me. If that's not enough, here coming up this summer, my own personal brand, because I am an author and a writer. I write for the United Nations and I write for the AI Journal. I write my own books. But the Abundant Soul brand, which is the brand that's been born out of the healing work that I have done, is actually going to be launching over the next 2 weeks with that. And the next book will be coming out. And then we have movie premieres and tours. And there's a long laundry list. But the big question I always get, Ken, is how do you do it all? I'm going to tell you, teams and systems. That's the answer. Teams and systems.
Yes, it is. Joe wants to be in the Lioness movie, it looks like.
You know, Joe, you can be in the Lioness movie, but we'll put you in the one that's called like The Lion Speaks and make an all men's movie of what they think feminine leadership is.
There you go. In other words, you just got rejected, Joe. So
no, they'll have their own movie with it. It'll be a part of the series. We can have the she said, and then we can have the he said, and then we can put it out in the world for debate.
He says, "I want to play Simba."
Perfect. We'll put that in italics underneath.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so incredible everything that you're doing. And I'm not going to put Joe, be nice about Ken Honda's haircut. Come on.
You know, Ken Honda has a traditional Japanese haircut, but I will tell you, in filming, he went and got it styled before, but his hair just like flies out everywhere. So it was one of the longest filming times I had, because we had to keep putting it back down so you didn't see him on screen with hair. And we've joked about this, and I share that with his Japanese audience as well. So it's kind of a funny joke. So it's in a line, but it's not a man's haircut. It's a Japanese haircut.
There you go. Look at that. She is prepared for anything you can throw at her, Joe.
I know. You can't unwaver me.
You are going to get a call, and she's going to invite you to a spiritual healing session, however, Joe.
There you go.
I think you need that.
We have some subconscious reprogramming to do that.
Yeah. I think he ate paint chips as a small child. So Megan says, sounds like John Gray. Well, it's funny she should bring that up. There
Yes.
might already be something in the works.
That's
So
just possible.
yeah.
Relationships is one of the pillars.
Yes, it is. So, oh, there's Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Jeremy is a good dude.
He's
Look, Joe said, "Can you leave some ambition for the rest of us?"
You have
I
plenty of ambition, Joe.
right, right.
Just act on it.
So, you have, and I'm trying to remember because in like on your Facebook page for the LA Tribune Productions Facebook page, you have little film thingy things, and it looks really cool. And there's the Titans of Texas or Texas
Texas Titans.
Titans, right? And we might know some people that are going to be. And Glenn Morshower is here in Texas, so
Could be in Texas Titans. It's a different style movie.
yeah,
It's only 5 or 6 people for the entire movie about how they built their business and, giving back, of course, to Texas and, and what really makes them a Texas Titan.
right, right. Do you have oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. The Dallas Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones.
I have you, Ken.
Right.
So we can talk about that.
Yeah.
We can talk about that and all the people you know in Texas.
Well, I don't know Jerry, but I may know people that do. But so what else? What else is coming, Dawna? You're just so like, if I ever need inspiration, all I have to do is call you and say, "Hey, what do you got going on?" And
Yeah.
you're like, "Well, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay."
Yes,
So
yes.
what's and how did you and Moe end up connecting on this whole thing? Because that hasn't been. How many years has that been in the works?
Well, actually, I was a speaker on the Los Angeles Tribune when he first acquired it at one of the Quantum Leap summits.
Okay.
And that's how we met. And then I had done various other virtual shows and was looking at different things in the Tribune as a media company in putting myself out there, especially with the personal transformational healing world. And in that process, over time, the pandemic happened. We all sort of lost contact with each other. And several years ago, we both ended up on the same cruise and didn't realize it.
Wow.
With the group that we were there. And on the last day, I'm like, hey, I have some questions about some things. So we started those conversations. I had some people ask me about putting together an event. I needed a headliner. Moe helped me with that. We put together the Law of Attraction retreat with Dr. Joe Vitale. And I did that event with the Tribune, and that's what kicked everything off. So one thing led to another. But in a lot of our conversations, my first book called Financially Fit, I really wanted to rewrite it because, your first book, it never comes out the way you want it to come out.
Right.
And he's like, if you're going to rewrite it, give it a new name. You're going to have a new ISBN anyway, and do this and do that. And so I started listening, I followed through and came back with the Abundant Soul brand book. It took on its own energy. And so that was also at the guidance there. And what was interesting was after the first book published, I went back and I was looking through some of my journals and I kept looking at the soul's abundance. I had written that so many times years ago. So it's, it's always within you. Sometimes you need that person or that catalyst on the outside that just pushes the buttons in the right combination and poof, here's the creation.
Yep.
And we work very, very well together in that way. And if it wasn't for him pushing some of those buttons, we wouldn't be sitting here today with a movie, with him co-directing with me, doing all the things we said that we were going to do.
And you guys are doing some amazing. That's like, you can tell just from the trailer, like that is so good. It's so good. It's so well edited and directed, and you can just tell it's amazing. Megan looks like she has What are some of your favorite benchmarks in your journey to where you are? And what are the most impactful transformations you've experienced so far? That's a great question,
That's a
actually.
loaded question. I'm going to say that as I filmed each and every person in the movie Pillars of Power, they each taught me something and something great. Because the subtitle is, the hidden secret behind achieving greatness. And each and every one of them taught me something great from their own lessons. And one of my more recent transformations that I had was when I was filming Lisa Nichols. And she was the very last person that I actually filmed. She came in. We had to do some re-edits for the movie, and it actually put like the icing on the cake having her. But I remember when we were filming her, she kept sharing to me that you can't wear half a t-shirt. So if you have on a t-shirt and it says leader across the front, because you are doing something and you're going to be putting this out for the world to see, just know you have a target on the back. And what she really meant by this analogy is you cannot sign up for something for all of the good things, the perks, the planes, the trains, the yachts, the whatever those perks are, without accepting the other side of the difficult moments that may come with it. And it's a yin and a yang. You have the good and the not so good, and they come together as equal territory. And you have to work through the not so good part to have the good part. And let me tell you, in my own story, I'm not ready to share all the details of some of these things, but after it premiered, I had some very good, close, personal friends that when I called them, shared some other things to me that took me out of my element for a day. And that has not happened in, oh gosh, probably 10 years at least.
Wow.
It like flattened me. And then I had to work through it because I had my own layer of transformation coming through, even in this last week. And it's Lisa's words that I remember.
I think that there is this expectation, and it's human nature. I don't think that it's any particular group of people. We all it's and I forget who I heard this analogy from, but it's something like, when you are planning a trip for Disney World or a vacation or whatever, um, all that the mind sees is being at the park and the kids laughing and everybody having fun. The human mind doesn't think about, good God, I got to load these brats up in the car. They're going to be screaming all the way to Florida. You don't think about all of the stops and the lightning and thunderstorms along the way and everything. The mind doesn't see that when we're planning this vacation. So whenever we start anything new, there's always that side. The storms are going to come, and the people who actually end up winning are the ones that can weather those storms, that they stay in it. The destination is here, damn it. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
And you're going to be happy.
We forget about the journey along the way, and it's not a straight line. It kind of goes like this on the way up.
It does. It's so true. So true. Well, I'm excited about the movie myself. I'm really excited about it. I'm happy and excited for you. And Megan is repeating what you said. Although Joe does, he wears a lot of crop tops. So
it's the wrong half. He meant front and back. I know he's top and bottom. Top, please don't send pictures.
Yeah, we don't need that visual. But so Dawna, I always ask this because I've been through all of the stuff. I've been through it all. I've lost cars, lost houses, had the electric, everything. Been through all of it. And for someone watching right now that either there's they're going through it right now. They can't seem to figure out what they're supposed to be doing with their life, or they are financially just devastated and can't pay their bills, they don't know what the next um, step is. To somebody watching right now that's literally in the middle of it, what do you say to them to kind of help them get through to the the next moment, the next day, the next thing?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to share with you a mantra that I wrote that got me through all of my difficult times. It's actually in a painting in my house that a friend made for me. And it is trust and you will see, believe and you will know, have faith, all is well, follow your heart, and spirit will lead you.
That's really good. Say that one more time.
Trust and you will see, believe and you will know, have faith, all is well, follow your heart, and spirit will lead you. So really in the essence of that is, it is the faith, belief, and trust that you have within yourself, your higher self, your being, your power, whatever you want to call it. And through that, you can forage any storm. If you're going through a not so good time financially, it will be replenished because abundance is your birthright. If you have ill health, anything created in the body can be discreated and recreated new. We do it all the time. We might have a cold, then we discreate the cold and we have something new. Doesn't matter to that higher power, to that being, whether it's a cold or diabetes, doesn't matter because it's all the same. It's just what vibrational frequency do you want to play in?
I just put out a little reel this morning of me saying, listen, so many people go to their graves with their music still in them. And it's not necessary. Are you getting a call or something?
Oh, there's always things happening here. So you're good.
Yeah,
I'm just
okay.
letting them know. I'm running a few minutes late.
Oh, you got to go. All right. Well,
Plenty of
listen.
time. I have plenty of time.
Okay, good. So I do love everything that you're talking about. I love, and you have a lot of new fans. If they didn't know who you were, they do now, and I guarantee you they're going to be looking you up and they're going to be following you and they're going to the website. What's the website address again? I'm going to put it up on the screen.
For the movie, it is thepillarsofpower.com.
pillarsofpower.com. Okay.
And it will be, it's always updated. And as we get our new showing, viewing, premiere dates for our tour, they will be updated on that website.
Okay. Listen, you are a rock star. You're a badass. I'm so grateful that you came on today. And I'm great. Thank you, Moe Rock, for introducing Dawna and I. And matter of fact, the first time we were supposed to meet, we ended up not being able to meet when you were here in Dallas. And
yes,
but I do believe everything happens in the time it's supposed to when we are supposed to meet. So thank you. And thank you for being here. If you could stay with me, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Is there anything else that you would like to say to everyone watching?
Just do everything through an energy of love and your life will be beautiful and magical.
There you have it. That might be the wisest thing that you've said the entire show.
Maybe.
That's amazing. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for sharing. If you've not shared it yet, there is time for you to redeem yourself and go ahead and share this out. And let's get a lot of people to hear this message. It was a beautiful message. And everybody make sure you go look up Dawna, Dawna Campbell. Look her up and follow her on all forms of social media. And we will see you all very, very soon. Dawna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys later.